Welcome to an incredible edition of Entrepreneurs in Fuego, where we're documenting the journey of amazing people, amazing entrepreneurs. And you're going to be treated to a story unlike anything I have ever heard. And with me, I have the distinct privilege of having Theo Jones with the company that I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this in English first, and I'm going to try it in Spanish.
Okay.
Apotheosis.
And then very good.
Was I okay?
Great job, great job.
Or in Spanish, apotheosis. You say in Spanish, it kind of just sounds a little bit.
I like it in Spanish.
I am so honored that you're here, sir.
My pleasure. My pleasure to be here.
Tell us a little bit about not your journey just yet, but tell me about what you do with apotheosis.
I help entrepreneurs, especially startup entrepreneurs, kind of balance their life. It's a holistic approach, mind, body, and spirit, so that their life doesn't get out of balance and they don't get so busy making a living that they don't actually live. You know, most people become entrepreneurs because they want the freedom, you know, to be able to control their lives, and what they end up doing then is they end up just working all the time. And a lot of times entrepreneurs are type A personalities, and so they end up being a workaholic and not paying attention to the things that really should be important as far as their health, their relationships, and everything just gets out of order. So I kind of come in and help them as far as keep their life in order so they can really enjoy their business and they can enjoy the relationships that they have.
Do you think that's because we don't take the time to find out why are we doing this thing?
Absolutely. A lot of times, and if someone has a why, it's not clear enough in their mindset that when things begin to get busy, they forget the why. And they just go into almost a fight or flight mode.
When we go into the flight or fight mode, that's where the cortisol levels rise, and then we're very stressed and so forth.
A lot of stress. So I spend a lot of time with clients. I've learned meditation techniques and spend time with clients as far as de-stressing them through meditation and learning meditation, mindset, shift in mindset, and energy work.
If there's anybody that has the authority to talk about all these things, it has to be you, because you were dead.
Yes.
Not that tired. No, you were dead about 18 months ago.
Absolutely.
Today is 2015, Christmas almost is here. So a year and a half ago, you were dead.
Year and a half ago, I was dead.
Tell us about that.
Result of an accident. I call it my miracle on 32nd Street. On 32nd and Camelback, I was involved in an accident and taken to the hospital. The impact had detached, or actually tore the retinas in my eyes. They eventually detached and had shattered the fourth and fifth vertebrae. And we have great doctors here that performed the different surgeries, but in the surgery on my neck, they compromised or nicked the basal nerve that runs from my brain to my heart. So literally what happened is my body totally shut down and I died. No brain activity, no activities in my organ. And it was one of those experiences that, those out-of-body experience where I literally was able to see them working on me, and then I was touched by the angel of death and experienced that angel of death and the coldness of that. Then two angels embraced me and took me before God, and I was in a place of just perfect beauty and peace and knowledge in the presence of those who have gone before, and I wanted to stay. And God said, you didn't accomplish what you were supposed to accomplish.
Was this a moment, and of course it's very clear in your mind, I mean, as you're describing it to us, it is very clear.
Absolutely.
Was it a long-lasting moment, or was it just a little snippet that you kind of now remembering it was all that? Was there a sense of time, I guess?
There is no sense of time on the other side of death. That's the interesting thing, that on the other side of death, there is no time. So there's no sense of time. So it seemed like eternity. And where, like I say, I had a coaching conversation with God, literally had this coaching conversation and was given that opportunity. And I say, it took a wreck for me to see that my life was in a wreck. Because I literally was that type A person that was so busy making a living that I really wasn't living. And I was neglecting, the reason I say it was a wreck, I was neglecting my wife, I was neglecting my children, I was neglecting my body, and I had forgotten my why. I was just so busy making a living. I wanted to accomplish so much as far as material things, and I had to have that experience to say, that's not it.
And here's the amazing thing about what you do, Theo, because we don't have to go through that wreck ourselves. You already went through it for us.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
You already went through all that pain and through that moment when you said, all right, something has to change. And so having that authority, that legitimacy, if you will, of having gone through that experience, when I come to you, I come very humble because you've already gone through it. And so you're able to give entrepreneurs, you're able to give others that experience without us having to go through that wreck.
Absolutely. And that's kind of my mission. If I can save people from having to go through that, even though I realize everything that I went through had a purpose. And so now I live on purpose, in purpose, of purpose, and I live very much in the moment. But if I can help people just stop for just a moment and say, if you had a second chance to live your life, would you live it? You have that chance from this moment on. Let's see if we can work together in such a way where you can live your greatest life. You're the author of your story. You decide how each chapter is going to go. And you decide how your story is going to end. Now with me, what happened is, I got to the end of my life. I experienced that where I turned the last page over in my life. I was dead. I saw those two words, the end, and it wasn't the ending that I wanted. And so I got a second chance. Some people will not, but I can prevent or help people without them going through a wreck to say, this is your life, live it.
The process after you're physically dead, I mean, no brain activity, you are dead. After that process, how long was it before you actually realized all that you're telling us right now? Because it couldn't, I mean, there is a moment, okay, I'm dead, but now, wait a minute, there's got to be a call, something has to happen. And, the physical rehabilitation, as well as the spiritual and mental rehabilitation that I'm sure you had to go through, must have been a journey in and of itself.
You bring up a great point. It was about a year, and it took, I had 10 surgeries over that year, in and out of the hospital. The only permanent damage from that, I'm able to talk, I'm able to speak. Some people think that I'm a little bit slow of mind, but that might have been before the accident.
I somehow got that.
I did lose the sight in my right eye, so I have no sight in my right eye. And I think everything happens for a purpose. So I lost that sight so I could gain a greater vision. And I also say that as I'm speaking to people and doing speeches, that I can turn a blind eye to anything or anyone. So if someone's on my right side, then that's what's happening. But there's a purpose in everything. So you learn through it.
You have a gift that was given to you, that second chance.
Absolutely.
And just by talking to you right now, I feel that you're giving that gift back to me. They're giving the gift back to entrepreneurs. I feel it. I mean, it's just very powerful. And that moment of clarity, if you will, that just got you to say and realize, I was given a second chance. You provide to other people. Now, we that receive that gift from you have to be able to take advantage of that gift. Have you found in your journey that maybe there's a lot of us that do not appreciate that message and continue to squander second, third, fourth, fifth chances?
Absolutely. And for me, again, it's holistic, mind, body, spirit. And one of the clear, as I've processed through this experience, what I've discovered is that it's not about a religion, it's about a relationship.
Sure.
It's not about necessarily a building, but it's about belonging. And it's not about law, it's about love. It's not about a status. And this is where with business and entrepreneurs, a lot of times we're trying to reach this certain status, but it's not about a status, it's about a state. And by that, you're not living in a state of fear or shame or regret or want or scarcity, but you're living in a state of abundance. God conspires for you, or the universe conspires for you. It will give you everything that you need. Just ask for it.
What do you think, or what would you say is the biggest obstacle that we put in front of ourselves? Is it fear to change? What is it?
What I've found, in doing entrepreneur coaching is that it is a sense of fear. It's a sense of I don't measure up or I'm not good enough, and this sense of that I need to prove myself to someone else, where really all we have to do is look within. You've got it. You've got it. You can do this. And so as I reach out to people, and I chose the name of my company on purpose because it's a Greek word that means to take you from where you are to a higher level.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Or in drama they would use it. It was the climax of the drama in Greek theater. So it's really taking people from where they are and kind of holding up I'm a kind mirror so that they can see themselves and see you are enough. You're everything that you should be, and you can do this.
We have it all in front of us, and that looking at that mirror, it's right there in front of us, and we continue to squander away those opportunities. You come in and you say, wait a minute, let me show you a little bit of that path. So, and you do that very effectively. What is your goal, say, for the next year or so? I mean, where do you want to be?
Where do I want to be? Certainly, I look to work with as many entrepreneurs as I can, one client at a time. I would like to develop a multicultural outreach. I've traveled into Mexico several times to do some workshops. I've been to China and to Israel. Specifically because we're so close to the border, I would like to develop maybe a closer relationship and have a program where I reach out to entrepreneurs in Mexico and try to help them also realize that they have everything that they need, that they can at this moment create the life that they want to, of abundance.
You speak of abundance, you speak of wealth, and you speak of the fact, as I understand it, that we already have all those things.
Absolutely.
Are we then focusing on the things that we do not have more than on the things that we already have?
Absolutely. We focus, and we tend to do that. We focus on scarcity and the things that we don't have instead of the things that we do. And that's where it's, like I said, it's not so much about status, but the state that you're in, to realize you do have those things and just helping you claim those. And I think that's where, as far as a lot of times people say, well, what separates you from other coaches? And I really work on this sense of, instead of entrepreneurs thinking that they have to reach this certain status, to realize they're already there. They're in that state. They simply have to be. We're human beings, so we just simply have to learn to be who we are.
Is there a story that or an entrepreneur that just jumps into your mind? Somebody that you, of course, changed his or her life, and that they forever are grateful? Is there a story in particular that comes to your mind?
There's several. Certainly, I think about one that entrepreneur that was just right with the decline in housing and in real estate, was just at the point of committing suicide. That just didn't have the vision that things would turn around, and reached out to me, and I was able to work with them to have them look and see that really, though there's an ebb and flow of what we might have as far as in material things at any given moment, we always have that abundance. And so they could, I could get and work with them to just stop and say, you know, it's not so much about that status, it's the state that you're in, and you have so much around you, so much wealth around you in abundance, and they could see that. And it's kind of like you mentioned before, we tend to look at the things that we don't have, and we're always reaching out for that something greater out there. And then, once I get that, then I'm going to be happy. You've got happiness now.
You were not dead a year and a half ago. I think that you started living better.
Absolutely. You know, as far as I think about it, you know, it's kind of my story is not a story about loss or death. It's really about gain. And
Sure.
I gained so much, you know. So it's actually kind of the coming to life of an entrepreneur.
That's how I see it. That's exactly how I see it, because, you know, we are, seldom do we hear a story that is so inspiring and that affects so many other people in the way that you have chosen, to tell that story and to affect other people. And so that brings us apotheosis, that brings us catharsis. And
Right.
I'm just going to throw all these Greek words out there.
Absolutely.
With these words with Greek origins, why not?
Absolutely. My pleasure.
You're going to have to come back and teach us a little bit more about how to transform, how to apply all these holistic lessons into our lives here at the Office Pile.
I would love to do that. I look forward to developing a great working relationship, a co-creative relationship where we can benefit.
I've never interviewed anybody that was dead. I mean, have you? Never. You're the first one. Hopefully, the last one, man.
Thank you.
I love you, man.
My
This
pleasure.
is just truly an amazing experience.
Thank you.
And without, we're out.
Welcome to the remix. Prestige.